Welcome back to Crystal Beauty TV. Today we're going over the next 5 things that your stylist really wishes you knew. Don't worry if you're finding this video first because it doesn't go in any particular order, so at the end of this video I'll put up in the cue card a link to that first video. Let's get started. The 6th thing your hairstylist wants you to know is that you should stop putting food on your hair. I'm talking all the foods like egg yolks, honey, apple cider vinegar, Kool-Aid packets. Like, that's not meant for hair. You'll see a lot of these types of posts on Pinterest, and it's supposed to help your hair be healthier or softer. You don't need to go pouring beer on your hair to seal the cuticle down or alter the pH. Like, just use your conditioner. I literally had someone tell me one time that their hairstylist told them to go put ketchup on their ashy hair. Like, I understand red cancels like the green. What? Don't do that. Just don't. Number 7, what you see on social media isn't always what it seems. Altered photos, Photoshop, it's nothing new. We see it on billboards, magazines, everywhere. I think it can do a lot of damage for both men and women, like to be held up to these huge, unobtainable, like computer altered versions of themselves that they think they should be. And that's really, really harmful. But let's just talk about the hair aspect of that. As a hairstylist, I have people come in with a picture of like a bright blue ombre and they say, I want this. Hey, but as you look closer on the picture, you can see the fake blue that's been put on there with like Photoshop or something extend past the hair and like onto their shirt or the background, wherever. Like, that's Photoshopped. It's not real. She doesn't even have hair like that. That's not saying we can't get you to something close, but it's not real. So don't expect it to look like a computer did it. It's really frustrating because on social media, actual hairstylists will post pictures that have different filters on them, or they've turned up the brightness or the contrast and messed with all of those editing features, and it's not the same. Like, you can tell if the person's wearing a black shirt and it looks like really light and faded, that probably means that their hair is a lot lighter in the picture than it actually is. And what we talked about a little bit in the last video was that sometimes they'll post these pictures of like before and after, but they won't show you the whole process it took to get there. Number 8, not all the money you pay goes to the stylist. This needs a little explanation, actually a lot. There are many different factors here. So in one case, the stylist could be paying booth rent, which means they pay to rent out their station and that space in a salon that's already established. They're not an employee, they pay to be there. You could also be an employee of a salon, so you could get paid hourly or commission, or hourly plus commission, I guess if you're lucky, or you get your tips, any kind of combination or single one of those. Or the stylist may have a shop set up in their own home, but that still doesn't mean that they get to keep the money. In this variety of situations, your money is going to pay for electricity, every product used on your hair, from any squirt of shampoo or hairspray, heat protectant, the actual product. Like, they have to keep product stock. They can't be like, okay, what color do you want? And then go run to the store and come back for every person. Like, that would just be nuts and time consuming. It goes to pay for foils. It goes to pay for their tools. It goes for gloves, all of that stuff. And then if they go above and beyond and like give you water or a soda, keeping your tools maintained or buying new ones is very expensive. A single bowl of color can cost the stylist $15 or more. The color, the developer, if they have to use foils, the gloves, a keratin additive like an Olaplex or a B3. And you have to remember, they're not paying for just each single pump that goes into your bowl. They have to buy this big thing as a whole, which is probably costing them hundreds and hundreds, and their whole back room like thousands of dollars. Now, there are well-established stylists that have astronomical prices, and they're probably deserving of them, and they do get to keep a good amount of that money. People who work in like the chain ones, people who get commission, they're likely getting less than half of what you are paying. So that's why there's that pretty little tip line at the end of the receipt, if you so choose to leave one. It's kind of like a taxi driver or a waitress. Like, we're not getting the full amount of what you're paying, so if we did like a really good job, maybe consider helping buy my kids some food or whatever. Anyway, box dye is the devil. That's number 9. Yes, the price is great, and you can't beat the availability of just being able to walk into a grocery store or even the dollar store and go buy a box. But hair dye is not a one-size-fits-all thing, but box dye does try to be, which makes it so harmful for your hair. Let's say you already have like pretty light, naturally blonde hair, and you just want to take that little extra step to platinum. That box dye could really damage your hair, and here's why. Those companies want to make people happy. I mean, that's how they stay in business, by making sure you get to that color. And if somebody with my hair, it's like medium coarse, there's tons of it, it's thick, it's a little resistant, and it's dark, wants to be that platinum color, and they make that formula strong enough so that I can do it, imagine what it's doing to your hair. Do you need one that powerful? Heck to the no. Hair color and the level of developer, which is the amount of peroxide that's being mixed with the color, that needs to be customized to each individual person. Hairstylists don't just go in the back room and grab, medium strawberry blonde and mix it together with whatever's in the box and slap it on your head. They had to go to hair school for a reason. There's a lot that hairstylists should be taking into consideration when formulating for each individual client, like what color their hair is naturally, how much gray is in their hair, what's been on their hair before. Yes, even that box dye from 5 years ago that faded out. No, it's still changed your hair on a chemical level. It's still there. The integrity of their hair, where they're wanting to go. And if you're saying, oh, I never buy box dye, I always get it from Sally's or whatever open to the public beauty store there is. I'm sorry to say that that's only just like a little step above box dye. In this case, it is a little bit better. You can pick the developer that you want to use so you're not using like 40 volume on something that only needs 10. And a lot of times, I hate to say this because I know there are good employees at these types of places who do know their stuff, but there are some who only think they do, and I hear them making the most random suggestions to people and telling them the worst advice. They're like, well, I went to hair school. It's like, just because you graduate and you pass the state board doesn't mean you're like this super fantastical expert. It means you could pass the test. Like any profession, there are people that are out there in the workforce that are good and some that are bad, some that are awesome, some in the middle, some that have no clue what they're talking about. That's just how it is. To buy real, authentic, professional, great quality hair dye, you need to hold a cosmetology license. At least that's how it works in America. Like, to go into these places to purchase anything, you have to have a license. Let's talk about celebrity endorsements. Do you really think that wonderful multi-dimensional color that they're rocking in that commercial is from that box? Do you think that celebrity is taking an $8 box, $15 box, and just slapping it on their head in the bathroom? No. Some people will still swear by box dye. They've done it for years and years, and they've never had a problem with it, and it's always come out true to the color. Maybe. Maybe that's true. I'd like to see the integrity of your hair. And if it truly, honestly works for you with no problems, then hooray. That is great. Like, I'm glad you can save money and do that. However, I have seen a lot of people walk into the salon needing a fix because they decided to use box dye, and it ends up costing them way more, like hundreds of dollars to fix just because they wanted to save some money in the beginning. A lot of times it doesn't work out. So please just take my advice on this one. Avoid it like the plague, or your Aunt Petunia's mystery meatloaf, whichever is scarier to you. Number 10! Hairstylists are people too. I know, shocking, right? We have feelings just like you do. We have bad days just like you do. We make mistakes just like you. Trust me, if your hair's looking like a disaster at the end of an appointment, we're already beating ourselves up and just like freaking out inside. We don't need you to like verbally harass us and break us down. Please don't do that. I mean, of course, we want you to express your opinion so we can work together on how to figure this out, what you want to do. You can talk to my manager. You can leave an honest review on social media. Just please do so civilly. Even some of the greatest hairstylists out there have off days or appointments that just don't go well. And sometimes it's their fault and sometimes it's the client's fault, because we'll be like, oh, have you ever done box dye? And they're like, no, I've never done anything to my hair. And then you have bleach on your hair and there's like 5 different colors coming out. And your hairstylist asks you about it, and they're like, oh yeah, I guess last summer I did put this on, and then I put Senin in, and then I put a red on, but then I dyed it all back to my natural, and it faded, so it's all out of there. It's like, okay, regardless of whose fault it is, just remember we're a person. Like, don't go leave a review or go tell our manager things that's just like personally attacking us, like, she is stupid, she is the worst, she should be fired, blah blah blah. I mean, if somebody's like going all Sweeney Todd on you, then they should be fired, but you know, a good hairstylist will jump through so many hoops to make sure you are happy, whether you have to come back tomorrow or if they have to stay late and cancel on plans with their friends. And they're not getting paid extra money to do that. They're doing that for you. We will help you try to figure out what's going on with your hair. We take no joy in having somebody leave upset or with gross hair. That's not good for us. That's not good for you, who we really care about. It's not good for business for the salon. There's no reason to want you to leave unhappy. So please just remember that we're people too, and work with us and talk to us like we're human. And remember that we also have families and like we like time off for holidays. Sometimes stylists will like break a bone or be really, really sick. Something's wrong with their kid. They have some family emergency and the client's just like, what do you mean she's not coming in today? Like, can't she just sit on a chair and do it? Can she come to my house and do it? What if I come to her house? Like, no, let them live their life. We try and try and try and give up times with our family to be with you. So please understand that we need some time off from time to time too. Alrighty then, so if you missed the first video, go ahead and click the cue card up there. If you like this video and want more beauty related content like tips, tricks, tutorials, beauty product reviews, go ahead and click subscribe and let me know what you'd like to know. I'll see you next time.